Hi everyone and welcome to my second live stream. Last time I was talking to Roman about machinelearning.net and everything surrounding that. And this time I've got the honor to talk to Alexander Klein. For those of you who have no idea who Alexander Klein is a senior business intelligence consultant with more than 15 years of experience. He's focusing on business intelligence, data warehousing projects, and in this area, mainly with Microsoft technologies like SQL Server, Power BI, Azure Machine Learning, or Cortana Intelligence. Since 2008, he has been a self-employed consultant working in large and medium-sized projects. In projects in the end across Europe. He has been visiting SQL Saturdays, so that's where we more or less met in the community space all over Europe since 2013. Since 2017, Alexander speaks at national and international conferences, user groups about data warehousing, business intelligence, Azure, and like this stream is doing about AI. And for those of you who saw the last stream where we had a lot of trouble with Skype, this time, at least I'm pretty sure that Skype shouldn't be an issue because we are sitting in the same room roundabout, 1 meter away. So welcome, Alex.
Thank you, Sasha, for this nice introduction of me. Yes, it's such an honor for me to be here in your live interview on your YouTube channel. And I want to show you today something about the cognitive services. My main working area is business intelligence, but the last 3, 4, 5 years, I was more focused on what is possible in Azure. And one of the benefits of Azure is, yes, I have a lot of new features. And one of the coolest features in my mind is, yes, I can use the cognitive services. For those of you who don't have any clue about what are the cognitive services, I want to show you some slides. The first slide is this old website. I think it was in 2015 when the website was released. The website, how old, was the first step of Microsoft from using of the cognitive services. In the website, you can upload the an image and the
It's not moving to the next slide. Let me try something.
okay.
Just continue.
And you can upload your image, and the intelligence behind recognize the face and could predict the age of the person on the image. This was, yes, this is the right image. This was the beginning of the cognitive services. And Microsoft also has cool names for projects. This was the name of Project Oxford. And this is also the reason when you use the bibliotheks in Visual Studio for AI projects, some of the bibliotheks have the name of Project Oxford. So yes, this is an old name. Someone don't have time to rename it. That's only the reason. And this was the beginning of the cognitive services. So what can I do with the cognitive services? In my mind, there are some 4 main reasons for cognitive services and the neural network behind. Something like classification, or I want to do some regression or association or clustering. And Microsoft divided nowadays the cognitive services in 5 main parts, like vision, speech, language, decision, and search. And you can see there are a lot of services that you can use as a developer, and you only have to implement a REST API that you send an information to a web service and get the response in a JSON file back. And Microsoft also offer the possibility for each main part like a customized version of the cognitive services. Like in the vision area, you have the custom vision service that you can get a pre-trained neural network that is trained for images, and you can do the final training with your own images so that the neural network fits perfectly for your needs. How can I use the cognitive services? There are different ways. The easiest way is you can go to the website from the cognitive services, and on the website Microsoft offers for nearly each service one online demo, so you don't have to install anything, you don't have to write any line of code for testing. Of course you can download some demo projects on GitHub, and you can start your own project by writing and typing, but the easiest way is go on the website, choose the service you want to test. Like in our case here, we want to test the vision part, and we want to use the custom vision. And on this service, you can upload images or use the demo images from Microsoft. In this case, there's a demo image from a scene of the train station, and the AI part behind can recognize each object in the image, and you get also a tag description what the AI part are recognized in the image. Like here we get the information, train, we had something about platform, it's indoor, we have subway as on tag, and you also get a written text like people waiting at the train station. And if you have a look at the different people, yes, this is a well-known Microsoft employee, and he also recognized VIPs. And here he recognized it correct, yeah, the chief of Microsoft wearing a suit and a tie. Yes, this works pretty fine. You can also upload your own images for testing. And if you want to test it in your own environment, then you had to get the subscription of Azure, and you can use the cognitive services. Normally you have a set of calls per month free, around about 20,000 calls per month. It's really enough for testing. So you don't have to spend any money for testing. But yeah.
Continue.
But if we go back to the cognitive services and my focus on, yes, I do a lot of business intelligence and data warehouse. So my mind was, okay, how can I use the cognitive services in my BI and data warehouse projects? I think my first thought was, okay, I have to use them in my ETL process. And okay, image analyzing is fine, but this is not perfect fitting for my ETL process. So this was one thinking, okay, maybe we have some different services that I can use for my ETL process. And I found one interesting service. It is on speech. No. Language. Here, text analytics. This is one interesting service. In this service, you can upload text, and you get the information about what language the text is. You can extract the key phrases of the text, and you also get a sentiment value back. A sentiment value is a number between 0.0 and 1.0. If the value is close to 1.0, then the content of the text is positive or more positive. And if the value is closer to 0.0, then the content of the text is more negative. Okay, what can I do with this functionality? I can analyze my social media feeds. And how can I do this in Azure? There are different ways. The easiest way is you can go to your Azure portal.
But just one
Yeah.
thing, when you thought about using this service in your ETL processes, you had obviously not Twitter in mind. What exactly did you do with that?
My first thought was, okay, normally the customers, they have marketing campaigns and they have different tools to analyze how good is the campaign in different ways, like on my website or on social media feeds. And for me, it was interesting, okay, social media, this means Twitter, this means Facebook, Instagram, and so on. And for me, the easiest way was to use Twitter. And my tweet, my thought was, okay, how can I connect me to analyze my tweets for a special topic? Yes, and so I think the easiest way is to use the Logic app in the Azure portal is one opportunity. There are more different opportunities that you can use, but the easiest way, in my mind, is use the Logic app. It's quite easy.
Okay, so in the end, you created the stream in our example from Twitter, and run that through the Logic app with the help of the cognitive services.
Yes, and the result from the cognitive services, I want to store it in a streaming dataset in Power BI for analyzing. But one disadvantage of the streaming dataset in Power BI is that you only can store 2 million rows. So if you come with 2 million and one row, the first row will be dropped. So yeah, for small analyzing of social media feeds, 2 million rows is enough. But if you think a little bit bigger, then 2 million rows is not perfect. So I implemented one step more. I want to store all the information also in the Azure SQL table. So in the Azure SQL table, I don't have the limitation of 2 million rows.
Okay.
And I also can join the information in the Azure SQL table against a different information from my data warehouse.
Okay, sounds interesting. So I'll let you continue, so we have a deeper look in what you created. So let me switch. Yep.
So, okay, I implemented one logic app, and in this logic app, we go to the design mode. And this logic app has only 4 steps. It's quite easy. The first step is I want to connect to Twitter with my credentials, and I want to search Twitter for hashtags for tweets with the special hashtag. In this case, I searched for tweets with the hashtag SQL conference, and I want to check this every 3 minutes. Are there new tweets with this hashtag? If there are new tweets, I send them to the cognitive services, to the text analytics part, only the tweet text. This is the part that I want to analyze. And the result I want to store in a streaming dataset in Power BI. In this streaming dataset, I store the information like the tweet text, the Twitter handle, the location, how many times the tweet was liked, how many times the tweet was retweeted, and all, of course, the sentiment value. So the score of the text, is it positive or is it negative? And the same step I have to do for insert the information in the Azure SQL table. Nearly the same step. And yes, this is quite easy. And if you are a little bit familiar with the logic app, then you can implement this in around about 5 minutes. If you don't have any experience with the logic app, then maybe you have use 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but it is quite easy. And especially if you have experience in Office 365, there is the same thing. It's called Power Automation.
Yeah, Power Automate.
Yes, formerly it was Flow.
Right.
Yeah, but the same functionality, you can use drag and drop to implement your workflow that you want to implement. Yes, this is quite easy. And the next step, there you spend normally a lot of more time, is to create the report in Power BI. So this is a simple, small report in Power BI. Here I filtered on the event for the SQL conference. I get round about 300 tweets for this hashtag. And you see in the diagram in the bottom, most of the tweets are over 0.5. So most of the tweets are very positive. So yes, it was a good conference. I was there last week, and the analyzing of the tweets fits in my mind the same that I feel at the conference. Yes, it was quite good, very good. And you see, okay, quite easy to implement this here. But remember, this is a streaming data set, only 2 million rows of data that you can analyze in this part.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, but the cognitive services are services. This means you have to send your data to an Azure data center, like North Europe or West Europe. And if you want to test a service that is not really general available, so in the development mode, it's nearly the service runs in US. So you have the problem, you need to send the information outside Europe, and you also have the latence between Europe and the US. It depends on the services that you want to test, if the latence is a problem or not a problem. This is the reason why I was very happy that Microsoft had a blog post in the end of the November 2018. And here they describe, okay, we want to offer you the cognitive services in Docker images. And what is the main part for this, or the main reason? Yeah, there are different Docker images that they currently offer. Something about vision, something about here the first service is face, like recognition of faces. And we have something about speech, and we have also here the text analytics part. And for me, it is very, very interesting that you can run this Docker image in your own company network. So you get back the control of your data. You don't have the need to send your company data outside your company network. Everything is in your company network. And of course, this Docker image needs to connect to the internet, but only for billing reasons. This is also a service, and Microsoft wants to send you at the end of the month the bill, and the bill contains how many times this service is called. And it doesn't matter if you call the Docker image in your local network or you call the service in the Azure data center. And this is the reason why the Docker image needs to call to connect to the internet.
Sounds good. So thanks for showing us a brief idea how cognitive services could be used in a stream, in this case in your Twitter example. So do you have any other ideas, any other projects you were working on, had in mind, where cognitive services was used in the end?
Currently at one of my customer projects, they use the cognitive services, the text analytics that I show you, in the same way. They use it to analyze the feedbacks of the apps on the smartphones, and they want to extract the content and the key phrases. What are the main problems in
Let me I moved away.
the main problems in maybe with the app. If someone wrote a text and yeah, there are key phrases, oh maybe there's some issue with my login or something else, then you can use the text analytics and extract the key phrases, and then they can really recognize very fast. Okay, maybe we have here some issues. And yeah, the last 5 months, they use the Azure service in the data center from Microsoft. And since 2 weeks, they changed it to the Docker image that runs on their own company network. So yeah, it's interesting that you can use this for these easy things to analyze.
And what are your experiences with the Docker system or with the with the cognitive services in containerized? I would say, is it faster? Is it more difficult to use? So just comparing the online version versus the local one.
If you have an application where you implement an call to the cognitive services, it doesn't matter if you call the endpoint in an Azure data center or if you call an endpoint inside your company network. It's only you have to replace the call string and nothing more. And the implementation of Docker images in company networks, yeah, there's minimum one person in each company that has experience with Docker or want to play around with Docker. And it is quite easy to set up. It's so easy that you can implement the Docker image on your own laptop and run it and for testing, and you don't need anything special to install. It's after 1 hour, I think you have everything you need to run the image.
Okay. And any other places except for Docker and text analyzers, any other services you used, any other thing you can share us your experiences in terms of what you used in your day-to-day life, I would say, in production?
In production, there are different services. There's one service called recommendation. This is yeah, 2 years ago, Microsoft shifted it from the cognitive services to Azure ML. I don't know why, but the beginning was cognitive services. It's like the recommendation on if you go on, especially Amazon, you see an item, and under the item you get the recommendation. People who saw this item also interested in this item or also buy this item. And the same functionality Microsoft offered with the recommendation functionality. This was the first customer project with cognitive services with the go live.
Sounds great. So all overall, a great introduction into some of the services and what you can do. But one thing, because I tend to use pretty customized models in my project, so creating really things from scratch or using an existing model, do some transfer learning to enhance those models. Can you do that with cognitive services as well? So using an existing model and, for example, add your own images to create your customized model?
Yeah, one example is the custom vision. In this within this service, you get a pre-trained model for images, and you can use your own images for the final training. Like if you want to detect objects in images, for example, then you can set up a small demo that you need 15 images for pears and 15 images for apple, and train the neural network that he can recognize apples and pears. And you can also export this model as maybe TensorFlow or Core ML and run it in different hardwares that you want. So yes, you have the option to customize this cognitive services.
Sounds good. So looking a little bit into the future, and where do we see you again? Where can people see you live? We initially talked about conferences and that you are all over Europe. So if people in Europe want to see you live, talk to you live, network with you, where are you? Where are you next?
Yeah, in the time of the virus, yes, it's quite hard. At the state of yesterday, you could see me at the end of the month for in the SQL Bits, but this morning the organizing team of the SQL Bits decided to move the dates of the
Yeah.
of SQL Bits. They move it at the end of September, at the beginning of October. So okay, this is maybe one of the big conferences that you can see me, but at the end of the year. The next event is the Azure Global Saturday. They turned it to an online event, so you can see me online, but not in person. The next option in person is maybe in May on the Path Regional Chapter in Karlsruhe. There we'll talk about AI for beginners. So yes, I will talk a little bit about the cognitive services. I also will talk about the Azure ML part, that a normal developer can use this functionality to enrich his application.
Sounds great. So I'm looking forward to your next sessions, especially I'm very interested in the Power BI and AI ones, because that's something I hadn't got the chance to have a deeper look into. So I'm looking to those sessions. I saw that you in some of the SQL Saturdays which are coming up, you at least submitted that session, one of those sessions. Maybe it might be chosen, and then I'm definitely one of the people in your audience listening to that talk. And for those of you who are on the stream or even see the replay, if you've got questions, just even after the stream, while watching the replay, please use the comment section. Just type your questions in there. I'll make sure that either Alex or I are going to answer them. And once again, thanks for joining. Thanks for everyone on the stream for joining or watching the replay. And my next stream will be, I think, in beginning of April. I know it's not scheduled yet officially, since I'm still in the preparation phase with the person I'm going to talk to. Yeah, thanks for joining today, and yeah, see you soon.
Thank you very much.